Spencer the Silver Engine. Written by RailwayRashad's. Story 1. Gordon and Spencer. Good morning, Thomas. I'm looking my best, and do you know why? Said Gordon. Why? Asked Thomas. Because the Duke and Duchess are visiting, so Topham had chosen me to be their special engine, boasted Gordon. Pah! Huffed Thomas, and Gordon steamed away. Gordon was making good time on his way, but the point switched him into a siding. He was very cross. I'm going to be late, he groaned. Then a silver engine raced by him. Steaming pistons! Who was that? Gasped Gordon. Later that day, Gordon went to Titmuir to pull the express when he saw the engine humming quietly. Who are you? Asked Gordon suspiciously. This is Spencer. He's one of the fastest engines in the world. And he's a resemblance to the mallard I once knew when I went to the museum, said James. Huh, huffed Gordon. Not as fast as Pip and Emma, though. But secretly he was impressed. Occasionally, I'm the Duke and Duchess's private engine and I take them everywhere on the mainland, boasted Spencer. Quiet, said the Topham Hatt who just arrived. There's going to be a party for our guests at Marin Station today. That's just after Gordon's Hill, wheezed James. You're going to need plenty of water on the way, added Gordon. What nonsense! I have plenty of water, wheezed Spencer, and he steamed away. I was only trying to be useful, muttered Gordon. Later, Spencer arrived at Titmuir Station with his coach. The Duke and Duchess were on board, and Spencer steamed away. He steamed along the loop line, showing the Duke and Duchess many beautiful places. But he never stopped once to take on water. At Elsbridge, Gordon was dropping off passengers for Thomas, which was a guaranteed connection, just as Spencer raced by. Don't forget the water, Spencer. Who cares about the water? I have a station to get to. He would be in trouble soon, thought Thomas, and he was right. Spencer soon approached Gordon's Hill just as he found himself going slower and slower, and he stopped. He ran out of water. Why didn't I listen? Sighed Spencer. Meanwhile, Gordon was about to set off when the station master approached him. Spencer is stuck on the hill. Can you help him to get to Marin Station? Henry will take care of the express. Yes, sir, said Gordon. Gordon soon found Spencer up the hill. He was looking forward to seeing him. Did you run out of water? He teased. Yes, said Spencer. I probably must have a leaky tank. Perhaps, said Gordon, but we better hurry. Everyone is waiting. Gordon switched to Spencer's line and coupled up to him, and he set off. At last they arrived at Marin. See, said Gordon, we're right on time. Spencer felt foolish and said nothing. What do you think of Spencer now? Thomas whispered. Too much puff and not enough steam, laughed James. Well done, Gordon, said the Topham Hatt. You are indeed a really useful engine. Thank you, sir, said Gordon. He then spoke to Spencer. Well then, cousin Spencer, he chuckled. Now you know what it means to take on water before you do some work, don't you? Poor Spencer didn't answer, but he knew that Gordon was right. Story 2. Edward the Great. The engines were at Knapford waiting for their trains to be ready just as Spencer steamed in. His driver had exciting news for him. You have beaten Gordon's record, he said. Of course, boasted Spencer. I'm faster and finer than all the engines on Soda put together. The engines, however, weren't impressed at all. Spencer is just a big silver show-off, Gordon sniffed, and everyone agreed. At least he didn't try to break Silio Churro, Pip and Emma or Scotsman's speed record, added Duck. Sir Topham Hatt then arrived. Spencer is to take the Duke and Duchess to their new summer house, while another engine is to take their furniture. The engines heard this and wanted to pull it, knowing this is a chance for a race. Please, sir, may I go? All said together. You all have other work to do, boomed Sir Topham Hatt. Edward will take the furniture. James and Gordon felt disappointed. Fancy letting an engine who shouldn't have been chosen to left out years ago to pull one freight car with some furniture in it, Gordon grumbled. He'll lose the race and let the whole railway down, sniffed James. Thomas, Percy and Duck were very cross at what they heard from Gordon and James. Edward was their friend. Spencer has a bigger boiler, said Thomas, but that only means more hot air. And on a wise engine like Edward can beat a show-off any day, agreed Percy. Indeed, said Duck. He may surprise us all. Edward set off, slow and steady. I'll do my best, he puffed. But Spencer, on the other hand, raced right by him. Looks like I won already, he boasted. And with a whoosh, he was gone. At Wellswood, the Duke and Duchess went to the tea shop to buy some refreshments. Edward then steamed in. Hurry along, old boy, teased Spencer, but Edward took no notice. The station master and the porters had heard about the race, and they cheered for him as Edward passed by. But then the Duke and Duchess went back inside Spencer's coach, and he went off in a flash. He raced past Edward. Out of the way, Edward, he called, but Edward paid no attention. He then approached Gordon's hill. Edward once helped push Gordon up the hill and knew that the load he was pulling was heavy. He then passed by Donald and Douglas. Hooray for Edward, cried Donald. He's a very hard-working engine, added Douglas. That made Edward's spirits lighten up as he continued to climb. He pulled and puffed and pulled as hard as ever he could. At last, he reached the top. I done it, he said proudly. He could see Spencer ahead in the distance and gave chase at once. Just before the junction, Spencer had to stop and take a quick rest. The Duke and Duchess stepped out and wanted to take photographs of the countryside. Spencer decided to close his eyes. Nothing to worry about, he said to himself. The Duke and Duchess then finished taking photographs and were back on board. Time to go, said his driver and rang the bell. But Spencer was too sleepy to hear, and he didn't know that Edward steamed quietly past him. So wake up, Spencer, called his driver again. When Spencer finally woke up, he could see Edward making his way to the new summer house. Nearly there, he pounced. Spencer knew he had to beat Edward, so he raced as fast as he could. But as they reached the siding, his driver slowed him down. It is dangerous to travel at high speed along this line. You must go slowly, said his driver. Spencer knew he was right, and knew he lost the race. Edward soon arrived at the summer house. Hooray! Cried Edward. I won! And he came to a stop at the platform. Edward felt like the pride of the Sodor Railway, and he was right.